Good morning, students. Welcome back again. We were discussing chapter number 2 in English, right? The Lost Spring. We have already discussed part 1 of this chapter. What is the main summary of this chapter it is the stories of stolen childhood, right? In spite of living their simple and enjoyable moments in their childhood, they are forced to work as labor in some areas or in some industries or at some shops because of their economic conditions. And this is what the author directly talks with those children and try to analyze their life. That is why the name of this chapter is The Lost Spring. Right? We have already discussed part 1, a story of Sahib-e-Alam, who is a rag picker, who collects rupee or a 10 rupee note from the garbage. That is his life, and that is what he enjoys in. The author tries to understand his life and tries to make him a good man by telling him to go to school. But he shares all his things, all his stories, all his personal lives, right? And at last he starts working in a tea stall. And then he says that my freedom is lost, right? He enjoyed what he liked to do as a rag picker. This is what we have seen the story in part 1, right? A story of Sahib-e-Alam. Moving towards the second story for today, right? I request the students, if you have not watched part 1, please watch this part 1. That is the story of Sahib-e-Alam. So it would be easy for you to understand the second story also. Why? Because the message is one and the same. Just the characters are different and their situations are different. Right? Second part for today that we are going to discuss is I want to drive a car. That is the topic for today. That is what a boy wishes, that he wants to drive a car. What is this story about? Take out your textbook, page number 16. Mukesh is the main character. Insists on being his own master. He wants to be his own master. He doesn't like to work under anyone. He wants to open his own business. He wants to be his own master. I will be a motor mechanic. I will be a motor mechanic. That is what his dream is. He announces, do you know anything about cars? I ask. Who asked this? The author. This is a new story, a new concept, a new name, right? The name is Mukesh, and the author talks with this boy, that is Mukesh, that do you know about anything about the cars? That is what the author asks. Who is the author? Anis Jung. This is a second story, meeting a new boy and asking about his own dreams. That is, he wants to drive a car. Alright? I'll learn to drive a car, he answers, looking straight into my eyes. That is what the confidence level of that boy is. He looks into the eye of the author and directly says that I'll learn how to drive a car with confidence. His dreams looks like a mirage amidst the dust of street that fill his own town Firozabad, famous for its bangles. That means he lives in Firozabad. He lives in Firozabad, and there is only one thing that has been done in the terms of business in Firozabad, that is making of bangles. Making of bangles. That is the only business that has been done in Firozabad. And he is forced to do that business, as his fathers and his forefathers did the same business. But as he has its own dream, what kind of dream he has? To drive a car, to be the master of himself. Whatever he does, he wants to do the business by himself. That is what his dream is. What happens into the story? We'll look forward to it, right? Look into the textbook. Every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making bangles. It is the center of India's glass blowing industry, where families have spent generations working around furnaces, right? Heat kind of furnaces where, a kind of shape that has been given to a bangle, right? That is what every generation has passed through that particular city. who lives over there in that area, that is in Firozabad, right? The only business that is making of bangles, welding glass, making bangles for all the women in the land, it seems. The entire industry in Firozabad, right, is of making bangles, of making glasses. When you make something which is, made up of glass, it requires heat. It requires a hot temperature, right? It requires furnaces. It is a very, hazardous process. But that is the tradition over there in Firozabad. There is one boy named Mukesh. He thinks in a different way. He wants to go in a different direction. That is, he wants to drive a car. He wants to be a motor mechanic, right? But his condition is not like that, or the condition of that family is not that strong that he can, carry out his own dreams or fulfill his own dreams easily, right? That is the summary, right? See, because of their economic conditions, the children are not given the opportunity of schooling and are compelled to start working at the early phase of the life. That is the condition of that boy also. What happens? Next paragraph. Mukesh family is among them. None of them knows that it is illegal for children like him to work in the glass furnace with high temperatures. None of them knows, right, that working of children in an industry, especially in a glass industry, is an illegal business. But once it becomes a tradition, it becomes very difficult to remove the mentality of that particular people. None of them knows, right, that all these things are illegal for children. And the light that the law is enforced could get him and all those 20,000 children, not one, not two, but 20,000 children out of the hot furnaces where they slog their daily light hours, often losing their brightness of their eyes, right? See, I'm reading that line again, try to understand. 20,000 children out of the hot furnaces, right? The temperature is very hot, the light is too much over there, working, especially making the glass, particular glass industries where all this glass are different types of the glass are being made. Hot temperature, high light that has been used, right? Where they slog their daily light hours, right? Daylight hours, often losing their brightness. They sometimes lose even the brightness of their eyes because of the too much brightness over there where they work in furnaces and in hot temperatures for number of hours, where they slog their daylight hours, often losing the brightness of their eyes. That is the condition of that city, that is Firozabad, who is making, or no, who is known as famous for making bangles. Mukesh eyes beams as he volunteers to take me home, which he proudly says is being rebuilt. We walk down stinking lanes chalked with garbage, past homes that remains hovels with crumbling walls, wobbly doors, no windows, crowded with families of humans and animals coexisting in a primeval stage. That is the condition or the area where this boy lives. He talks with the author, he shares everything. What is the situation, what is the economic condition, what is the size of his house, the walls and the construction of his house, and a place or an area where he lives, where co-human exists with animals. Even the animals also sleeps next to them. In that kind of area, this boy is living. The name is Mukesh. I'm reading that line again. We walk down stinking lanes chalked with garbages, that means all the waste where that has been put, that kind of area. Past homes that remains hovels. Hovels means a dirty place with crumbling walls. The walls are halfly constructed, halfly, imbalanced, a kind of an imperfect home, right? Wobbly doors, where there are big holes, right? Where the doors are, not properly made, that kind of wobbly doors. No window, crowded with families of humans and animals coexisting in a primeval stage. That is the condition where this boy lives. He stops at the door of one such house, bangs a wobbly iron door with his foot, and pushes it open. We enter a half-built shack. In one part of it, thatched with dead grass, is a firewood stove over which sits a large vessel of sizzling spinach leaves. There he enters, his house, he pushes the door half open and finds a room, right, where there is a firewood stove over which sits a large vessel of a sizzling spinach leaves. There is a big vessel and there is a big fire stove on which the food is made. He enters into that house, right? On the ground, in a large aluminium platters, are more chopped vegetables. There is one aluminium plate over there, and there are some vegetables which are being chopped. A frail young woman is cooking the evening meal for the whole family. Through eyes filled with smoke, she smiles. That means there is only one house. That means there is only one room where all these family members stay together. And when you burn or make kind of food in the fire stove, it is obviously going to create a kind of, smoke that which we cannot, even sit over there. Even though her mother is making food for the whole family, that means they are living in one room, where kitchen, where bedroom, where everything, that is dining room and hall and everything is one and the same. No difference. That is the condition of this boy where he lives in Firozabad, right? Even though her mother smiles, she is the wife of Mukesh elder brothers, right? Not much older in the years, she had begun to command respect as a bahu. That is the bahu, that Mukesh elder brothers wife, right? So she is considered as bahu and she has started to command respect. The daughter-in-law of the house, already in charge of three men, her husband, Mukesh, and his father. When the older man enters, she gently withdraws behind the broken wall and brings her veil closer to her face. What is a veil? That is, in Gujarati, is known as gungat, right? She puts her veil to her face so she cannot directly contact her eyes to his husband's father, that is, in father-in-law. Mukesh and their father, when the older man enters, she gently withdraws behind the broken wall and brings her veil closer to her face. As custom demands, that is the custom of those kind of people living over there. There are some modern societies who does not believe in all these customs and traditions, but still in some parts of the society this custom is still been there. It has been considered as an heritage, that we cannot look to the elders directly face to face, especially women. And still these customs even today exist, right? It depends upon people to people whether to believe this custom, yes or no. That is a kind of probability, because certain people are very much forwarded and certain people are very much traditional, right? It depends upon people to people, right? So this is the custom of his house. She is the bahu of his elder brother, right, of that house. She is in charge, in command of the respect of kitchen and all the house, and she is taking care of three men. That is his big brother, that is his husband, the Mukesh himself, that is the character of the main character of the story, and his father, right? As custom demands, daughter-in-law must veil their faces before male elders. In this case, the elder is an improvised bangle maker. That means his father has a business of bangle making. That is the business of his father. In this case, the elder is improvised bangle maker. Despite long years of hard labor, first as a tailor, at the initial level he was a tailor, then a bangle maker. He has failed to renovate a house. So you can imagine the poverty of that family. At the initial level, he started as a tailor, then he, started his business as a bangle maker, but then also he failed to renovate his house. He didn't have that much amount of money that he can renovate his house. They were living in one room, so you can imagine what kind of congested-ness it would be. Very difficult. It looks very easy to say all these lines and story, but when we go to that area, when we look at that people, we feel very pity for them. But that is the harsh reality of their life, right? This is what the situation is, and this is what those families are facing every day, each and every day. Every day they need to struggle, every day they need to roam here and there, so that at least they'll get a meal for the day and they can survive for today. They don't know what is going to happen on the next day. That is the real life of those kind of people. And this is what the author is trying to describe in this story. She wants us to understand those life, and as in humans, we need to help them as much as we can. This is why the author is sharing all these things, because the main content of the story is stories of stolen childhood. We have already seen 20,000 children are working in that industries. Not one, not two, not even 1,000, 20,000. If those 20,000, get the proper education system, get developed, get well educated, right, it is obviously going to give benefits to the nation only. But as because of their economic conditions, they are forced to work in that industries. Right? So this is what the author is trying to express through this story, that we need to help as much as we can. That is the main objective of this, main motto of this story is. Right? Next, what it says. Despite long years of hard labor, first as a tailor, then as a bangle maker, he failed to renovate a house. So that is the poor condition of that family. Sent his two sons to schools. All he has managed to do is to teach them what he knows. He even at the initial level sent his two sons to the schools, but that was useless. And at the end, what happened? His father knew how to make bangles, and that is what he taught them at the end of the day. That means at the end there was no other options but to teach how to make proper bangles. That was the main thing, right? The art of making bangles. It is his karam, that means his destiny, says Mukesh's grandmother, who has watched her own husband go blind with the dust from his polishing the glass of bangles. See, I'm reading that line again, try to understand. It is the destiny, says Mukesh. Mukesh's grandmother, who has watched her own husband, that is means his grandfather, go blind with the dust from polishing the glass of bangles, right? He became literally blind by constantly doing the same activity, that is polishing the glass, for number of years, and he became blind at the end. With the dust from the polishing the glass of bangles, can a God-given lineage ever be broken? She implies. Born in the caste of bangle makers, they have seen nothing but bangles. Born in the caste of bangle makers, that means their only caste is make bangles. The only work that they know or they have to do is make bangles. That's it. No other work, no other art, no other creativity. Only one work, that is to make bangles. That is their caste. That is their work. In the house, in the yard, in every other house, every other yard, every street in Firozabad, wherever you go, you only find one thing, that is making of bangles. That is making of bangles. Spirals of bangles, sunny gold, paddy green, different colors are being given. Royal blue, pink, purple, every color born out of the 7 colors of the rainbow, lie in the mounds in unkept yards, are piled on 4-wheeled handcrafts pushed by young men along with narrow lanes of shanty town, and in the dark hutments next to lines of flames of flickering oil lamps sit boys and girls with their fathers and mothers, welding pieces of colored glass into circle of bangles. Their eyes are more adjusted to the dark than to the light outside. That is why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults. So this is the process of making the bangles of different colors. Constantly, sitting in the hot temperature area with the furnaces or the heat or the light in a dark area. Right? They constantly sit over there and work for number of hours. Father, mother, grandfather, grandchildren, boys, girls, everyone does the same business. That is to make bangles in Firozabad. Their eyes are more adjusted to the dark than to the light outside. That means of the particular sun that is available in the ground or in the open nature. They are constantly working in a place, in a dark area where the temperature is hot, where the furnaces are very high. Right? They are always concerned with the glass of making bangles. Each and every member of the family does the same business. Right? And certain point of time, look at the last line. That is why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults. Right? Savita, a young girl in a drab pink dress, sits alongside an elderly woman, soldiering pieces of a glass, collecting small pieces of a glass. As her hands move mechanically, right? Mechanically means like a machine. She has become expert in collecting that small pieces of glass because she does the same work constantly for number of hours. So she has become the master in soldiering pieces of a glass. As her hands move mechanically like the tongs of a machine, I wonder if she knows the sensitivity of the bangle she helps in the making process. She thinks, that means the author thinks that this girl, right, she doesn't know what is the value of a bangle. So she feels that, I hope, that means the author is talking to himself, I hope she feels the particular sensitivity, that means the, you can see, a pride of wearing bangles, especially woman feels pride, right? A woman after getting married, right, feels pride in wearing a bangles, but she doesn't know the value of it, who is constantly making that bangle, right? It symbolizes an Indian woman's suhag, auspiciousness in marriage. It will dawn on her suddenly one day when her head is draped with a red veil, her hands dyed red with henna, and red bangles rolled onto her wrist. After getting married, all these processes are being done, right? She will then become a bride, like the old woman besides her, who became one many years ago, right? She still has bangle on her wrist, but no light in her eyes. She had bangles on her wrist, that means she was wearing bangles when she was working, but no light on her eyes, right? That she was not married, she was not having any kind of the marriage auspicious feeling. She was just wearing the bangles simply without knowing the real meaning of wearing bangles, or the importance of bangles that has been given to a woman after getting married. It symbolizes many things. She is wearing bangles right now, but she doesn't understand the value of it, right? So the author, feels that, I hope she understands what is the value of these bangles. She has bangles on her wrist, but no light in her eyes. एक वक्त शेर बार खाना भी नहीं खाया. She says in a voice trained of joy. That is what the girl replies. एक वक्त शेर बाहर खाना भी नहीं खाया. Right? She has not eaten a food which is available outside since many months or since many weeks. She doesn't know the taste of the food that is available outside in the street or in the society or in any kind of the restaurants, because she does not have the money. She says in a voice drained of joy, she has not enjoyed even one full meal in her entire lifetime. That is the condition. One full meal in her entire lifetime. She has not enjoyed any kind of meal. That's what she has repeated. Her husband, an old man with a flowing beard, says, now you know her husband, she is talking about her husband. I know nothing except bangles. That is what the business of his husband is also. I know nothing but only one thing, that is making bangles. All I have done is made a house for the family to live in. The earnings that he has got from making bangles, he has made a house. That is where they live in. That is what the maximum he can do for his family. That means his husband. He is talking about his husband. Hearing him, one wonders if he has achieved what many have failed in their lifetime. He has a roof over his head. At least he had a roof with his family over his head. Right? Many other bangle makers were there who didn't have any roof, proper walls, proper construction of the house. At least she and his husband had a roof over his head. Her husband was also in the same business. But what he could do, he made a house to live in. That is what the max he did for his family, which was quite something great, rather than living in that same area with other bangle makers. There were many bangle makers, right, who got failed even to build a house. At least she and his husband, were successful in building a house, and that is what they considered one kind of the greatest achievement, right, at their level. The cry of not having money to do anything except carry on the business of making bangles, not even enough to eat, rings in every home. The young man's echo, the lament of their elders, little has moved with time. It seems in Firozabad, years of mind-numbing toil have killed all initiative and the ability to dream. A mentality or a kind of a thinking which is one and the same, that in Firozabad there is only one business that can give you money or that can give you success at a lower level, that is making of bangles. You cannot think of other businesses over there. They are killing the dreams of many people living in that same cities who might be expert, who might have the knowledge of other fields, but they are forced to do the same work as everyone does in Firozabad, that is to make bangles. There are many people who might have different skills and ideas of doing other businesses, but they do not get any kind of options to develop a new business. They do not have enough money to develop a new business. So they are being forced to do the same business what their forefathers did. Right? That is to make bangles. That is what the Mukesh is currently right now talking to that particular author, that is Anis Jung. He is, telling all the practical things that are being done in Firozabad so that the author can understand what is the situation of this place. Why not organize yourself into a cooperative? I ask a group of young men who have fallen into the vicious circle of middlemen who trapped their fathers and forefathers. Even if we get organized, we are the ones who will be hauled up by the police, beaten and dragged to jail for doing something illegal, they say. There is no leader among them, no one who could help them see things differently. Their fathers are tired as they are. They talk endlessly in a spiral that moves from poverty to apathy to greed and to injustice. So the author, when she understands all these things, she tries to say is that why don't you get all together and try to do a new business? Try to come out of this, box and try to make something of your own, develop something new of your own. What does the boy reply? That even if we are, we move suddenly, for example, out of the box, right? We are the one who are going to be beaten by the police for doing something which is illegal. Because once it becomes the mentality that this place is only for making bangles, you cannot dream of other businesses, right? It is the reality of that place. It becomes the reality, in fact, of that place. So even if they move out of the box, they would be beaten by police, dragged to jail for doing something illegal. That would be the situation over there. And their fathers won't support them, and their fathers would be helpless because they don't have enough money, to go on a legal basis. So that is again a drawback of their story. So they cannot even think of other businesses. Listening to them, I see two distinct worlds. One of the family, caught in the web of poverty, burned by the stigma of caste in which they are born. This is what the author thinks, right? They are born in the web of poverty, burdened in the caste stigma, right, which they cannot come out. They are been stuck in such kind of mud that even though 10 to 100 people are ready to help them, they do not have any option. They cannot come out of that mud. They are so deeply stuck into that mud. That is the fact. The other vicious circles of the saukars, that means the great persons, the middlemen, the police, the keepers of the law, the bureaucrats and the politicians, together they have imposed the baggage on the child that he cannot put down. Before he is aware, he accepts it naturally as his father. Right? There are some big people, businessmen, politicians, right, who do not allow them, who do not give any kind of freedom to this kind of people to do their own business, to come out of the box, make something new of their own. The saukars, the government, the middle people or the higher people, the people of in charge in law, they keep an eye on all this kind of people, and they stops them if they are going outside the box and puts them back into their place, right? And they don't have any option. The only option is to make bangles. As they watch, go back into their family again, they watch their fathers and forefathers, and they sit there and learn the same process, because that is the only source of their income, right? Because big people, politicians, the persons in charge of the law does not allow them to, to move or to do a different business. That is in Firozabad. To do anything else would mean to do a dare. Any daring is not a part of growing up. When I sense a flash of it in Mukesh, I am cheered. I want to be a motor mechanic. That is why the boy wants to be a motor mechanic. So the author feels happy from inside. She feels very happy. At least there is one boy in the society that he is, daring. He is making a move which is out of the box. That whatever he feels, he wants to do that business. He repeats, he will go to a garage and learn. But the garage is a long way from his home. I will walk, he insists. Do you also have a dream of flying a plane? He is suddenly silent. No, he says, staring at the ground. In his small murmur, there is an embarrassment that he has not yet turned into regret. He is content to dream of cars that he sees hurtling down the street of his town. Few airplanes fly over Firozabad. Right? That is what the dream is. So when the author feels that there is at least one boy who dreams of doing his own business, who dares to do something that he actually likes. So the author asks the question, see, I'm repeating that last few lines again, right? I am cheered, that means the author is cheered. I want to become a motor mechanic, he repeats. He'll go to a garage and learn. That is what his positivity is. He'll go to a kind of a garage and he'll learn how to be a good motor mechanic. But the garage is a long way from his home. The thing is, the garage is very far from his home. I'll walk. That is the positivity. He says, Mukesh says that I'll walk. He insists, right? Now what does the author say? See, Do you also dream of flying a plane? Do you also dream of flying a plane? That means flying a plane means, what does a plane do? That moves from one city to the other city. Flying of dreams. Flying of dreams. That is what the sense is, the sense of the author in asking a question. Do you wish of flying a plane? She is not talking about the aeroplane to fly, but flying of a plane means coming actually out of that particular mud, trying to do something of your own, really. That is what the sense is in asking these questions, that do you really want, or do you also dream of flying a plane? That means, do you really want to come out actually of that particular bangle making process? At that point of time, what does Mukesh reply? No, he says, staring at the ground. At the initial level, he says no. In his small murmur, there is an embarrassment. When he says no, he's kind of feeling embarrassed from inside. He wants to do something of his own, but he is embarrassed as he is not able to do something of his own. What is his dream? To be a good motor mechanic. But the thing is, the motor mechanic workshop is too far from his house, right? So the author asks, do you actually want to fly a plane? At the initial level, he says no and murmurs from inside. That is a sound that is coming from inside, a kind of embarrassment to, not to say a kind of a negative thing, right? That he has not turned into regret. He is content to dream of cars that he sees hurtling down the street of his town, right? He is content to dream of cars. At least, he dreams, or at least he tries to do something of his own. But the saddest thing is that has been given in the last line, that few airplanes fly over Firozabad. Out of 20, 30 or 50,000 people, there are few people actually, or in reality, who fly over Firozabad. That means there are very few people in that society who come out of that box and do something of their own. But majority of the people are stuck in that business only. They don't have any option. This was the dream of this boy, Mukesh, who actually wanted to be a motor mechanic. So at the initial level, right, he was embarrassed when the author actually asked the question that, do you, fly an aeroplane? That means, do you really want to come out of this box and do something of your own? So at the initial level, he was very positive. He was even ready to walk a long mile to go just to a motor mechanic shop and learn how to drive the cars. But he was embarrassed. He was feeling negative from inside, that he did not have that much amount of support from his family and from his society. So at the initial level, he said no. But he still had a dream inside his heart that one day I'll be in this business. That was the only positive thought in this story. But what does he say in the last line? That is, few aeroplanes fly over Firozabad. That means there are one or two people out of 1,000 who come out of that place and dares to do something new of their own. That is the harsh reality of that place, that is Firozabad. This is the story of Mukesh. His dreams were shattered. His dreams were, killed as his economic conditions were not that much stronger. He was forced to do the business which was being done by his forefathers, that is making of bangles. So again, the message over here, that is stories of stolen childhood. In spite of getting good education, in spite of living simple and joyful moments, Mukesh was being forced to do the business of making bangles. And that is what he says in the last line to the author, that is to Annie's Jung, that very few planes actually fly over Firozabad, right? It looks very easy, it looks very interesting when we see all these stories, when we hear all these stories, right? But this is the reality of such people living in such area. So I request each and everyone who is watching this video, try to help the poor people, not if in the terms of money, then maybe in the terms of food, maybe in the terms of clothes that you have in your house which are not useful to you. Give to them, so at least they can satisfy their basic needs. If you are not financially strong, you need to help those poor people in the other way also. There are many ways. There are many children who are blind. There are many children who are poor. And there are a number of ways through which we can help them, if not through money. Right? This is what the author is trying to give us a message in this chapter. That many people, are not living their dreams because of their financial, economic and family conditions. And this is what we have to understand from this chapter and try to help as much as we can as per our own capability. Right? I hope both the stories, made this chapter interesting for you. I hope you learned something new from this chapter. Right? English is a subject where you constantly learn about new stories, about new concepts, about the poems, what the author tries to describe, and most importantly about the language and the words and the sentence that are being mentioned in this textbook. And this will make your content very strong. This will make your communication power much more effective. So I request the students to read the chapter rather than just to focus on the summary. Many students, are focusing on these things. They are just looking at the summary and mugging the chapter. Rather than that, try to read. Try to understand. Try to read the sentence. What kind of words are being given? Right? That would improve your communication power. Right? This is what it is about chapter number 2. That is the lost spring. I hope the chapter and the story is clear. Thank you.